Let's talk about form, essay form. Basically, it's the shape that the essay takes, but there's a lot more to it than that, I think. For our purposes, when we're writing an essay, you have to have an idea about how to structure it and what it's going to look like on the page. Now, for the most part, you've learned probably or been asked to format your essay in a specific way. That's just a form. Uh, Indenting paragraphs, having a title at the top, putting your name in the upper left corner with, the class and the date and all that. That's a formal device, right? That's somebody said this is what we want it to look like, the shape it needs to take. I think now that we have AI to just do all that stuff for you, I'm not that interested in making you do it. If you've chosen the path of learning how to write with me, then we're going to offer up some ideas about how to approach an essay that feels interesting and that feels exciting to you, that leads to some, self-discovery maybe, but I think that's a little bit much. Maybe we'll call it writing discovery. Like you're discovering something about how writing gets put together by you. Okay. So let me just I'm going to riff on this. This is going to be about maybe 5 minutes, but I think it'll be useful to you to just start to have ideas about what it means to put language on a two-dimensional space, a document. I would prefer that you still type your essays, and put it that way. They're easier for me to read, but I'm not too concerned anymore about, the standard paragraph shape. Now, probably paragraphs, we'll do another video on those. It's a useful unit of thought still. It organizes language in a way that is, I think, important. And it's standard across many different languages and ways of expressing yourself in writing. So it's good to practice that, and we will practice that. But for this video, I'll just say, imagine your birth. I don't know if you've ever seen your birth certificate, but imagine your birth certificate, okay? The information that it has, it organizes information. Your name, your parents' names, your place of birth, the time that you were born, the city in which you were born, probably the country, it has a bunch of stuff. And because it has a bunch of stuff, you could use that as a formal device for organizing an essay about yourself, right? About your origins. So for instance, you could have a paragraph about your name. Why was it chosen? What does it mean? Do you like the way it sounds? Your opinions about it? This could be one paragraph or it could be several. The place of birth, whether it's a hospital or a home or, you could be born in lots of different places, but most people are born at a house, some sort of domicile or a hospital. And that building, wherever it is in the world, will probably have its own history. So you could write about that in another paragraph or another section, right? And you don't have to tell your reader that you're organizing this information in terms of your birth certificate, but you could also be upfront about that and just say, kind of this is an annotation of my birth certificate or something, right? Now this is another thing you could do. You could actually take a PDF picture of your birth certificate and then use a software tool to annotate it, so you have like pop-out boxes for each one, right? The way we will sometimes in this class we'll annotate documents, right? So you could draw a little line from your name, draw a little line from your place of birth, draw a little line from your parents' names. Maybe your parents are, how did your parents meet? What were they doing in the year that you were born? Like, where were they living? What were their jobs? I mean, there's all sorts of things that you could expand on just by conceiving of the idea of the shape of that form, right? All right, this is already 5.5 minutes, so I'm going to go for maybe 1 or 2 minutes more. That's one way to start to think about, organizing information. Another way is lists, right? And lists don't have to be. You could write a list about a list. You could write a list. You could write an essay about your grocery list. You could write an essay about your to-do list from, 6 weeks ago. Did you accomplish any of those things? Are they, are your to-do lists macro or micro? Is it like make the bed, do the dishes? Do you have that kind of to-do list? Or is it more like, start a meditation practice, or, lift progressively heavier weights in the gym, or, there's goal-oriented lists, right? You could write a list of things that you were thought about or were distracted by while you were reading something that I had you read, right? You're like, okay, well, I kept thinking about this, and then I got on my phone and I scrolled Instagram for half an hour, and then I came back to the text and I thought about this, and just a kind of stream of consciousness list of stuff that you were thinking about and doing. That can tell you a lot about yourself, and it can tell your reader a lot about who you are and how you process language and organize information. Again, that's what form is. It's about shape, the shape that information takes on the page. Often you don't have an idea that is so structured that you can't expand or explore or sort of push the boundaries a little bit as you write. You'll revise these things into better shapes or more interesting shapes as you go, but it's good to sort of keep the idea of form in your mind so that when you start to see things happening on the page, you can note that and go, okay, now I see where this is going, right? All right, this is now too long. I guaranteed everybody that nothing would be over 10 minutes. So here we are at 7:48, and I need to wrap it up. That was a hummingbird. Okay. See, I'm being distracted. I would add that to my list of distractions while I was doing this video. I'm also distracted by my coffee. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'm glad you're on this path with me. I think that learning how to write is such a unique and can be an inspiring process if you get rid of the fear of failure and the anxiety of not being able to express yourself, because no one can express themselves 100% adequately. But that's the beauty of language. It allows for excess, and it allows for concision, and somewhere in between there is where you find your sweet spot in your voice. Okay, I'll talk to you later.